Well, hello there my friends, and welcome back to the Scott Ree Project. And just look what I've got in front of me here. What we have is a venison pluck. Basically its lungs, its liver, its heart and its kidneys. And today we are going to be making that classic haggis. Normally made with a sheep's pluck, but we are going to be doing it with venison, which when it's made with venison, it is actually called a royal haggis. So sounds pretty cool. But the first thing I want to do then, got his vital organs. We don't put the kidneys into a haggis. Let's just peel it out of its lovely protective casing. Absolutely immaculate these are. Cut that off. There. Beautiful kidney. Anyway, what we need for this then is, beloved of the stalker, we got the liver. Just trim any funky bits off. Just look at that for a prime cut of venison. And it is absolutely immaculate. That, if you can get turned on about offal, is a thing of beauty. Next, obviously, the heart. It's the heart, dear heart. Again, look at that. Anyone who had a heart. It's beautiful, isn't it? And then the lungs. So all I'm going to do is trim around the lungs. Now the lungs have no nutritional value, but they do provide a certain texture, and of course it's traditional. So just cut it away from the windpipe, and we are left with the basic ingredients for our haggis. Now the first thing we need to do then is get this on gently simmering till it's nice and tender. You can leave it whole if you want to, or you could speed up the process by slicing it. Now here on the SRP, I'm a big believer in the feel to fork, nose to tail. Obviously, we're all shooting deer, hunting deer. We're butchering our own carcasses now, and we really need to start using the offal. And I can't think of any better way than this dish. But just look at that. I've got a good mind to just get the pan on, lightly dust it in flour and get it in. And there you have a stalker's breakfast. Right, we're going to cut into the heart. Now I'm only doing this to speed up the process. Absolutely immaculate. And I will wash the clots out. But that is in prime condition, isn't it? Right, I shall wash the clots out. I will get it in my pot on the stove, which is here, ready to go. Top it up with water, bring it up to the boil, and then let it simmer until it's tender. About an hour, hour and a half. So, what we've got left then is this skirt. This would be the uber popular hanger steak if it was on a cow. So that can go in the pot. This is called the mouth. That can go in. And as you can see, like I was saying, nose to tail, when you weigh up the deer meat, as you've seen in many videos before, and you're left with the vital organs, we've got our liver and our heart and our lungs, mouth, and that skirt in there, two beautiful kidneys. Really, that is all that's left. And I'm even going to just give this an extra trim. So there is the waste. Right then, there's my pot of goodies. As you can see, I love how the lungs float. I'm going to get this on the stove then, bring it up to boil, and then simmer it till tender. So in the pot, I've just covered it with water. We've got to let it do its own thing. So while my vital organs are bubbling away gently over here in this how broth, what I need to do is start toasting my oatmeal. Now, if you can, try and source pinhead oatmeal. it's the traditional oats that go into a haggis. I'm going to use about £1. So all I'm going to do is get it in this pan. You can lay all this out on a tray and put it in the oven on a medium heat, but you want it to just go brown and not burn. So I find if you just take your time on the stove top, you can keep an eye on it. It's starting to smell amazing. When you cut into a haggis, you will see the bits of oats, so you want quite an oaty consistency. So what I will do when I make my mix up, if I feel there's not enough oats in there, we can simply just put some more on and add it. The thing is, you can always add, you cannot take away, so just play it by ear, and as I go through the process, I will judge if it needs any more. They're starting to brown now. Old asbestos fingers. So my oats are toasted, as you can see there. But if you look on the plate here, the difference, those were the raw ones, still nice and white. Then our beautiful toasted ones, and just imagine the flavour that will impart into our haggis. So in this very manly bowl, I will tip my roasted oats. Very nice. So my offal then has been on the simmer for an hour and a half, well, hour and 40 minutes to be honest with you. What we need to do then is take out all those organs, retaining the liquor. Do not drain this down the sink. This is gold. And as soon as this is cool enough, we will put it through the mincer, but that is the hard work done. Okay, then on to the fun part. Here we have all my cooked offal, the liver, the heart and whatnot, and then I have got 2 large onions. Now I am going to send mine through a mincer on a coarse plate. If you haven't got a mincer, by all means in a food processor, but just pulse it, don't make it into a mush. Failing that, on a chopping board, old school, with a knife, backwards and forwards, till you get like a mince texture. So I'm just going to put this through here. That's all my offal and 2 onions. Into our mix then, about a pound of beef suet. Beautiful, beautiful beef suet. Give that a shufty. Look at that now. And then in with our oats. I said about a pound. See what that looks like. I'm just going to add the rest in. And that is the basis of our haggis. Giving it a good mix, distributing all the oats and all of the onion. And what's it smell like? It smells amazing. Next, we are going to add our stock in there, so we can get it to mix and stay together, and then we will add our spices and our herbs. A quick whiz round then of the spices we are going to use. I have got 1 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 1 teaspoon of ground pepper, half a teaspoon of cayenne, half a teaspoon of allspice, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of ground coriander and a teaspoon of mace. Now I will definitely write this down in the comments. I know a lot of you folks out there say, can you write the ingredients? And yes, you're right, I should be doing it. So I'm going to give that a little mix. Always best to blend it first instead of just chucking them in. You know, you get an even mix. Evenly distribute our spice mix. Just get your hand in again. It's very satisfying. And just give it a mix. And when you think, I say this a lot, the journey we've come with this from what it started, and now we've got it down to this. This is what nose to tail is all about. Now I just want to put in some salt, about 2 tablespoons. And what we will be doing next is adding that liquor, that stock, a ladle full at a time, so when we squeeze it together, it will stick together. Now that's still a bit dry and crumbly, it's not sticking, so we will start adding that liquor. Look at the colour of that, hey? That is gold, baby. This is like building sandcastles. We get our hands in, starting to loosen up already. The transformation is absolutely amazing. And it doesn't matter if we've got a few bits that have been lurking in the bottom. It's all flavour. Now to me, I know it doesn't look very appetizing, but that is a great consistency. Right, that's ready for the next stage. So we've got our wonderful mix. It's now time to cook it. Traditionally, it would be piped into a sheep's stomach, cleaned out. Obviously, you may have trouble sourcing a sheep's stomach, especially in the US. In my last video, I piped them into ox bungs, which is a smaller version of the stomach from the lower intestines. Again, availability, I'm not sure if you can get them over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook them 2 ways. The first, I'm going to pipe them into what we call ox runners. Now, ox runners are a thicker natural skin. This is a typical hog skin for thick sausages that you get, about 34. And as you can see here, the ox runner, like I said, black pudding, white pudding, thicker, can take more stuff in. So I'm going to stuff some into one of those using my sausage machine. And the second method, which I think is going to be more home friendly, is we'll grease up a pudding bowl. We will put some of this mixture in, seal it with foil, and then steam it. And the only difference between doing it that way and in skins is you won't get that ceremonial, take it to the table, open it up, but you'll get the same finished product. And I think that is the way forward, instead of trying to source all this, you know, sausage machine, so on and so forth. Right, I'm going to get this stuffed, get some in a bowl, and we'll start steaming them. My ox runner will go on to my sausage stuffer. Now the trick here, and it's very, very important, is you really don't want to be overstuffing these. Obviously they will expand during cooking, and the last thing you want is a burst in your pan. As you can see, not the most attractive sight. I'm going to put a bit of the natural skin over the end, and I want to tie this off quite a strong knot, and then I shall begin stuffing. Like I said, not too heavily stuffed. You're looking at about, as you'll see now, starting to come out the end. So I want it about 3/4 full, so there's plenty of slack in that skin, and I will stop there. I will now tie another bit of string on there. Now you can see why, if you haven't got the kit, this could be quite difficult. So with that second method of me steaming it, for all you guys and girls at home, will be a lot easier. So I'm going to tie these into horseshoes by just looping over the string over the other end, and that allows us to pull it out of the water. So this next method then, I think more home friendly. You're more likely to do this method. You haven't got to buy any kit, you know, no sausage machine, no skins. All I've got is a pudding bowl, lightly greased. I'm going to put some of the mixture in, I'd say about 3/4 of the way up. A double layer of foil, and we will put a fold in it to allow for expansion. So we've just put a crease in it, and we will secure it with some string. That will allow us to lift out of our steamer. So our 2 cooking methods then. There's my pot. As you can see, it's not boiling, it's a simmer, just little bubbles popping on the bottom. I am gently going to lower my Haggi in. 1, 2, and that's the beauty of having those strings long. You haven't got to go fishing for them. And the second method, if you can see in there, I've got a saucer in the bottom of a pot. I shall lower it in. The water is coming halfway up, and I will just put the lid on and let that gently tick away. You're looking at about, I suppose, 40 minutes to an hour. We'll check them and then we can try some. So then, just keep an eye on the temperature. You want it about 180 or lower. Like I said, you want no boiling action in there. If it gets too hot, just flick some cold water on the surface. Obviously with the steamer, once it comes up to boiling, turn it down and let it gently tick over. Okay then, now is the moment of truth. Let's see what all that work produced. Just have a look at these 2 beauties I piped into those ox bungs. Just have a look at that. Hey, absolutely stunning. One, I'm going to plunge straight into ice cold water to arrest the cooking process, same as we do with black pudding, white pudding. Then we have, which I think is a more convenient method, our steamed one. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So before we cut into one of these then, let's just have a quick recap of what we started with. Well, it really has come a long way, hasn't it? You know, and here on the SRP, the Scott Reed Project, you know, we're all about this field to fork, nose to tail, using every part of the animal, and I think we've done it again in spades here. So let's just have a quick inhale. Let's take a little slice. Look at that. Nuts, isn't it? All that work. Let's have a quick go on it. That was really nice. Now, when we do things like this, be it haggis, black pudding, white pudding, we take it straight out of the pot into ice cold water, bring the temperature straight down so we can then store this in the fridge. And what that will do is, after a couple of days, the flavours will develop and you'll get a better product still. But this is a bit of a rare treat actually, straight out of the pot, and it was stunning. And as for the second method, yeah, it worked really well. You know, like I said, if you can't get the stuffer, you can't get the skins, the casings, that's the way forward. But again, I think I would take that out, let that cool down, let the flavours develop, and then reheat it. But at the end of the day, we've done an amazing job with that venison pluck. And I know I keep repeating myself, but the transformation, when you think about it, it's witchcraft. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Scott Reed Project, another one of my epic masterclasses. This truly is a nose to tail episode. And if you've liked what you've seen here today, please click subscribe. I think the button's down here somewhere. Also, catch me on my social media, Facebook, Scott Reed, The Scott Reed Project, and on my Twitter, @ScottReaProject. You'll see the icons down here somewhere. Also, please check out my vast back catalogue. I get a lot of comments, have you got this video, have you got that video? If you're not a subscriber, you're missing out on my massive back catalogue. There ain't much I haven't done, to be honest with you, so be sure to check that out. And the easiest way is to click subscribe. So until next time, that was venison haggis and then some. All the best. See you again.